I'm going to show you how to install architraves. The tools we require for the job is a nail gun, a mitre box, a saw for the mitre box, hammer, square, PVA glue, tape measure, safety equipment, architraves, step ladder and spirit level. First thing we need to do is measure and cut the bottom architrave. We're going to measure between the reveals and then we're going to add 5 millimeters. Reason is we want the architrave to be on the outside of the reveal. I'm going to measure now the inside of the reveal. I'm now going to add 5 millimeters, transfer the measurement onto the architrave and cut the architrave ends on 45 degrees. The next step is to cut a 45-degree angle on the end of one board. To do this, I'll need a mitre box and a small handsaw. The mitre box that you get will have a 45 groove already indentated onto the mitre box. You can use this to cut your 45 for one end. Now I'm going to measure the architrave from the inside point, measured to an inside point and cut on the 45-degree mitre. Now I've measured the length of the internal measurement and added on 5 mil. It's now time to cut an opposite 45-degree angle on the other side of the architrave. I've cut a small piece of timber and I'm going to use my teammate Bo, and he's going to help me align the bottom architrave by using the small piece of timber so he doesn't have to carry a huge piece. So now we're about to attach our bottom architrave. What we're trying to do is to keep that 2.5 mil step from the reveal down to the architrave and try to maintain that through the rest of the architraves around the window. Now we've fixed one end, it's time to fix the other end. I'm going to remove this dummy plate now because I know exactly my positioning of where I need to nail. Thanks, bud. Now that I've nailed the architrave on both ends, I can now come to the middle of the architrave and nail it so it is still even with the reveal. Now I've fitted the bottom architrave, it's now time to cut for the top one. We know that the window is square and level, so the top architrave is exactly the same cut as the bottom architrave. Just remember, it's a mirror image of the bottom architrave to the top. I've got Bo here holding the small piece of timber with the mitre on it on that end, and I'm about to nail this end off at the right height. Now I can move the Bo's end and finish off that corner. Now that we've fixed our top and bottom architrave, it's now time to put the sides on. So what we do is we measure down from the long point to the long point and we cut it to that size. So remember, it is important to measure both sides on the architraves because they could be slightly out. Now that I've made sure that the architrave will fit, before we nail it, we're going to put some PVA glue on the corners. This PVA glue will hold the corners in place for themselves. Now we've got the glue on the corners, it's time to use our safety gear and nail it away. So now we've finished that side, it's now the identical process on the other side. And it's as easy as that, any DIY can do it. That's how you install an architrave.